Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Mitchell Millennial Podcast. It is your host, Mitchell, and today we got a few interesting things in regards to the future of the Pocophone F2. Xiaomi recently announced the Xiaomi Y3 and Redmi 3 in India, but before we start covering the news and talking about this stuff, I want to go ahead and thank everyone that supports me and uses my affiliate links. Without your continued support, we couldn't have the podcast and we couldn't keep the channel going. Next up, shout out to the Telegram community. I really love interacting with you guys on there. If you're not part of it, you should definitely join. As always, you can find the Mitchell Millennial Podcast on the Google Play Store. You can find it on SoundCloud, and I'll have links to where you can go ahead and subscribe in the description down below. Okay. First thing that we are going to talk about today is Xiaomi announcing the Redmi Y3 and the Redmi 3 in India. Now, both of these devices are going to be pretty similar. Both of them are going to be powered by the Snapdragon 632 processor, which is kind of an evolution of the Snapdragon 625 that Xiaomi loved. The devices will come with 3 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage, or 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. They will both have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which we should see as being kind of excellent battery life. Now, on the downside, both of these devices will have a micro USB cable instead of USB Type-C. And the Xiaomi Y7 will be packing the Xiaomi Y3 will be packing a 32 megapixel front-facing camera. So for all the selfie lovers out there, the Xiaomi Y3 is going to be a great phone, and it's in some ways a bit of a pro-er version of the Redmi 7. Both devices will sport Gorilla Glass 5. Both devices will have a water drop notch. And we are looking at a relatively cheap price point of right under the $200 mark. So looking at around $150 to $175 for both these devices, which is a really good bargain when you consider the fact that they're coming with Android 9 Pie out of the box and will probably be upgraded to Android 10 in the near future. Like other phones in Xiaomi's lineup, they will sport a plastic body design to keep costs down. Now, a lot of the reasoning for having the Y3 and the Redmi 7 is for offline sales in India. For those not aware, offline sales make up a big part of Xiaomi's business model in China and in India. So Xiaomi releasing these devices at that price point, it's really so that they are cheaper offline as well, so that people that don't want to buy online can just walk into a store and purchase the device as it is. Next thing I want to talk about really quick was my review or my three-way shootout of the Redmi AirDots versus the Xiaomi AirDots versus the Xiaomi AirDots Pro. If you haven't seen that video yet, go ahead, check it out on my channel. But some really interesting findings on there, especially in regards to Bluetooth range and Bluetooth audio delay, which is something that a lot of people were wondering about. I will probably be picking up a pair of the QCY T1C headphones in the coming week or so, just to see how they compare with the Redmi AirDots, because they're both priced really similarly as budget true wireless headphone competitors. And being that Xiaomi is heavily invested in QCY, I think it'd be interesting to see what kind of imprint or what kind of effect that has on the future of both of these two companies. Okay, now on to the main story and the thing that I really was wanting to get to. And this was that the Xiaomi vice president confirms that the Redmi phone with a Snapdragon 855 might be coming to India as the Poco F2. And this has been something that I've been talking about for months now, which is that for Xiaomi to have the 3 different brands of phones, being the Poco brand, the Redmi brand, and the Xiaomi brand, is absolutely silly and preposterous, especially if Xiaomi is going to be launching a Snapdragon 855 Redmi phone. There's just no reason in my mind to do it, because Redmi is already kind of the budget phone, so to have like a budget flagship Poco phone just doesn't really make sense. But what does this mean for it? But it has confirmed that the device will sport a pin drop, waterfall, water drop notch type of thing. It will have a triple camera setup. It'd be interesting to see if it's the triple camera setup from the Mi 9X or if it's the triple camera from the Mi 9 normal. There's some subtle differences between those cameras, and I've talked about that before. It will have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack also, and it will have the Snapdragon 855 with a similar 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, possibly more. And so this makes me question what this device will be getting launched as internationally. Is it going to just be the same device and then a rebrand? Is Xiaomi going to finish off the Poco brand? And really, is the Poco brand going to continue internationally outside of India? The Poco brand originally was a sub-brand that was launched for the Indian market. So the fact that they might launch the pocophone F2 in India as the Redmi phone and then do a pocophone F2 internationally, I think it's kind of confusing for the consumers. But either way, we're probably going to have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and we're going to have really similar specs to what we have right now on the Black Shark 2. If you're not aware, the Black Shark 2 has 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, no notch, which the Pocophone F2 will have a notch. It has a dual rear camera setup on the back with the 48 megapixel Sony IMX 568 sensor from the Mi 9, and overall the Black Shark 2 is a beast of a phone. That means that the Pocophone F2 will be a beast of a phone, probably with 9 to 10 hours screen on time in stock form, and that will probably be my next phone. I like having the headphone jack as a backup. I like USB Type-C, and I like a big battery. And for me, at least, having a super thin phone isn't that vital. And the plastic build of the Pocophone F1 has been fine for me right now. If we keep the rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, I'm okay with that. The in-display fingerprint scanner that my girlfriend has on the Mi 9 isn't always super fast, and using a tempered glass screen protector for me at this point is kind of a necessity, and that definitely does affect the functionality of in-display fingerprint scanners. So where does this leave us? Well, we'll probably see a phone at right around the $320 price point in the form of the Pocophone F2. It might be launching as the Redmi Pro in India, but I'm really interested to see what that device launches internationally with. If you plan on getting a Pocophone F2 or whatever the next Redmi phone is as your daily driver, let me know why in the comment section down below. Is it the battery life, is it the build quality, or is it just the overall value that is the big selling point for you? Let me know. I want to know why. I want to have this conversation with you guys. And if you are listening to me on, on podcast form, let me know where you're listening to me, and go ahead and click over to my YouTube channel. Okay, it's been a shorter podcast, but I wanted to get this news out for you guys. Till next time, it's been Mitchell coming to you from Hanoi, signing out.